I want to share with you my long walk of life. I was born and raised in South Somalia with a loving parent, with love and respect. But until one day, everything changed. See, when the civil war broke down in Somalia in 1991, my parents were shot to death by the rebels when I was 7 years old. Just because they were asked for money which they didn't have, or because my dad stood up and says to the rebels, what you're doing is wrong. I was forced to live with my grandmother until I was 15 years old. And then my grandmother got killed, but the rebels didn't stop from there. They came and captured me and the young teenagers that we were living in the neighborhood, and they told us we were men enough to work with them. But I refused. So as the other young and teenagers, because I knew what they stood for, and I didn't want to become one of them. I was imprisoned together with the young teenagers for almost 2 years. One day we broke loose and we escaped. Running for my life brought me to Netherlands 10 years ago. It was peace, cold, and I had to see train for the first time, and I had to see white people for the first time, no offense. And then I had to be interrogated by an immigration officer, and I had to answer questions like, sir, do you have a house address? And I say, sir, where I came from, we didn't have a house address. But then, sir, do you have a house number? Then I said, sir, it is difficult for me to count all the houses in my neighborhood to come and to a conclusion to know exactly which number is my house. But sir, do you have a birth certificate? Sir, where I was born, we were born inside a house or under a tree. So no, I don't have a birth certificate. Sir, you don't have a birth certificate, you don't know your house number, and you don't have a house address, you are invisible. I was given a train ticket, and I was told, welcome to the Netherlands. But where will I go? I didn't have any family. I didn't know no one. Imagine, then they told me, sir, you make use of that ticket, or you'll be escorted by the security. Imagine you're forced to live and survive in a foreign country where you don't have money, you don't know no one. How will you do? And how will you survive? But I kept hope in myself that one day things will work out. I survived. And I thought I was alone, but I wasn't. I heard about a group of refugees who set a tent camp in Amsterdam in a form of protest, and I joined them. And this is the place that I called my home. And when the government did come with any kind of solution, they decided to evacuate the tent camp. The police came and asked us to leave, but we didn't have any place to go. We were arrested and put in the largest police station in Amsterdam. And we were individualized screen check to see if we can return to our home country. But it was impossible. 8 hours later, we were released in the cold, in the middle of the night. We didn't have any place to go. And through help of activists, we got an empty church here in Amsterdam. And we called it a flight church, a vluchtkerk. Now we lived here And we called this place our home. And we had, you can see, all the caring Dutch people. And then I thought to myself, I say, something can be done. And what could I do? What can I do? Because I've seen all of it. And I said, I have a gift and I have a power in me, which all of you have. You have a God-gifted voice that you can use and speak out. So I had to ask myself, why can't we go back to our countries of origin? I love my country. But according to Human Rights Watch, Somalia is considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world, where you have terrorist groups, Al-Shabaab, that is terrorizing the whole nation of Somalia, many parts in African countries, and around the globe. And according to me, the terrorist group Al-Shabaab are murderers, and they have to face justice. And there's a lot of countries in Africa which don't want to take refugees back and don't accept refugees as their citizens. You have a country like South Sudan, a country like Sudan, which it was one, but now it is two, Sudan and South Sudan. And when you have a fellow Sudanese refugee, if he wants to go back, he goes to a South Sudanese embassy because he was born there, but they don't accept him as a citizen because his father was born in North Sudan. And you have refugees who are too political involved in their countries, and if they can go back, they will be killed or imprisoned. Now I said, what can I do? I had to use my voice to speak out to the media to explain the situation. I wrote some articles in the newspaper until one day I got an invitation from the parliament, the Dutch parliament, to come and speak out about the solution and the situation at hand. Then I had to ask myself, but I'm considered illegal. If you enter a government building, you need to have a valid ID card. That was difficult. Then I had to ask a friend of mine who was a Dutch citizen to accompany me and to witness to see what was going to happen. Then when we entered the building, there was a reception there, and there were security men. And the next thing that I had was, identification, please. Now she took out her passport. The only thing I had in me was a piece of paper with my name on it. They looked at it, and they told us, welcome, and the politician will be shortly with you. Then I had to ask myself, and I came to understanding that a passport cannot define who you are. After struggling and after explaining the situation, it was not easy. I had to go back to my routine, my normal life. When I came back in the Vlootkerk, I met a woman, a sweet woman, who was kicked out from her asylum seeker centrum, who didn't have a place to go, and she came to us and we offered a place for her to sleep. Her name is Ulai. Now when I looked at Ulai, she was really sick. She couldn't eat for weeks and weeks. Everything we tried to give her to drink and eat, she will throw it out. We didn't know what to do with that situation. She didn't have a medical insurance so that she can get help. And then when I looked at Ulai, Ulai couldn't speak any other language apart from her own mother language, which is Somali. And I looked at myself. I can speak Dutch. I can speak English. Then it hit me, and I decided to become Ulai's full translator. Because I believe in question of life, the life most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? with the help of the Dutch citizens, the supporters who were there, we decided to take Ulai for a journey of her recovery. Through that journey, we came across the best doctor that money can buy, which Ulai didn't have money. But the doctor decided to take her in as a patient because he believed in his duty as a doctor to cure and treat sick people with or without passport. And through his investigation, he discovered that Ulai has a brain tumor. If it grows, it will press her eye nerve and she can go blind. Then I was sitting in front of the doctor and he asked me, what can I do more? Does Ulai have a lawyer? And I said yes. I gave the doctor the details of the lawyer, and from there he contacted the lawyer and with the full information on her medical situation, and the lawyer had to send requests to the immigration office, and together we managed to get Ulai back to the system. She now lives in Amira, a city close to Amsterdam, and the most important thing that she has is her medical insurance so that she can get access to her medicines because she needs those medicines for the rest of her life. Because we chose to see each other as equals, as human beings, and we managed to make Ulai's life a bit easier. Because I want to send a message to you all. You need to look at each other as human beings, not as objects, a word like illegal that can be used against a certain human being. Because in reality, I am not my passport, and you are not your passport. We are all human beings. And when you see that, when you recognize that, our world will be a better place. Thank you very much.